Fresh political tension as Presidency fires back at Peter Obi over Tinubu resignation demand. A fresh political confrontation has emerged between the Presidency and former Labour presidential candidate Peter Obi, following Obi's call for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to step down over the current state of the nation. The Presidency has dismissed Obi's comment as a distraction, describing the demand for resignation as childish and unhelpful. Government officials insist that calls for resignation do not solve national problems and have challenged opposition figures to offer practical alternatives instead. While the exchange may appear to be just another political disagreement, a closer look suggests it touches on several deeper issues facing Nigeria today. It raises questions about leadership, accountability, opposition politics, public frustration, and the early signs of the battle for the 2027 general election. One major angle to this story is the growing frustration among ordinary Nigerians. Across the country, many citizens continue to struggle with rising food prices, expensive transportation, high electricity costs, and a weakening purchasing power. For many families, daily survival has become increasingly difficult. Because of these realities, criticism of the government is becoming more frequent. Opposition leaders like Peter Obi are trying to position themselves as voices of public dissatisfaction. Their argument is that the government must take responsibility for the hardship citizens are experiencing. From the perception, Obi's comments may be less about forcing a resignation and more about drawing attention to what he sees as failures in governance. By making such a strong statement, he ensures that national attention remains focused on issues affecting ordinary Nigerians. Another important angle is the Presidency's determination to defend its economic reforms. Government officials have repeatedly argued that many of the policies introduced by the Tinubu's administration are painful but necessary. According to the government, some of Nigeria's economic problems were inherited and cannot be solved overnight. Supporters of the administration point out that economic reforms often require time before their benefit becomes visible. They argue that judging the success or failure of such policies too quickly may be unfair. This explains why the Presidency reacted strongly to Obi's remarks. Government officials appear concerned that constant criticism could undermine public confidence in ongoing reform before they have enough time to produce results. Beyond the immediate disagreement, this story also outlined the growing importance of perception in modern politics. In today's political environment, public opinion is often shaped not only by policies but also by narratives. Political leaders understand that controlling the public conversation can be almost as important as controlling government institutions. The opposition wants voters to focus on economic hardship, insecurity, and public dissatisfaction. The government wants Nigeria to focus on reforms, infrastructure, projects, and future economic recovery. As a result, both sides are engaged in a battle to define how Nigerians interpret current events. Another overlooked angle is the role of expectation in leadership. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office, many Nigerians expected quick improvements in economic conditions and security. However, governing a country as large and complex as Nigeria presents enormous challenges. As time passes, public expectations naturally increase. Citizens begin asking whether promises made during campaign are being fulfilled. Opposition politicians often use this expectation as a tool to measure government performance. This means that every major economic or security challenge becomes a political issue because it affects public confidence in leadership. The latest exchange also reflects the charging nature of opposition politics in Nigeria. In the past, opposition parties often struggled to maintain public attention between election cycles. Today, Social media and digital communication have created opportunities for opposition figures to remain influential even outside election period. PWB continues to command significant support among many Nigerians, especially young voters and urban residents. Its comments therefore attract considerable attention and often generate nationwide debates. The presidency's response suggests that government officials recognize its influence and consider its criticism significant enough to address directly. Another interesting part is the question of accountability in a democracy. In democratic societies, opposition leaders are expected to challenge those in power. Their role is to question government decisions, highlight perceived failures, and present alternative solutions. At the same time, governments are expected to defend their policies and explain their actions to the public. This exchange can therefore be viewed as part of a broader democratic process where competing political voices seek to convince citizens that they have the best vision for the country. There is also a strategic political angle that should not be ignored. Although the next general election is still some distance away, political calculations for 2027 have already begun. Political parties are reviewing their strength, building alliance, and testing messages that may resonate with voters. Every major political statement made today could influence future electoral strategies. Some analysts believe that both the government and opposition are already laying the groundwork for future political campaigns. Public disagreements such as this may therefore become more common as political competition intensifies. Another concern arising from the debate is whether political arguments are distracting attention from policy discussions. Many Nigerians want to hear practical solutions rather than political accusations. Citizens want answers to questions about inflation, job creation, healthcare, education, security, and economic growth. While political confrontations generate headlines, they do not necessarily provide solutions to the challenges facing the country. This is why some observers argue that both the government and opposition should focus more on policy debates and less on personal attack. The security the security dimension of the debate is equally important. Recent concerns over insecurity in different parts of Nigeria have increased pressure on political leaders. Whenever attacks, kidnappings, or other security incidents occur, opposition figures often use such development to question government effectiveness. At the same time, government officials argue that security challenges have existed for many years and require long-term solutions. This difference in perspective continue to shape national political discussions. The international image of Nigeria is another angle worth considering. Political stability plays a major role in attracting foreign investment and economic confidence. Frequent public disputes between major political figures can sometimes create uncertainty among investors who are closely watching development in the country. For this reason, some experts believe political leaders should balance criticism with constructive engagement that reassures both citizens and the international community. Ultimately, the clash between Peter Obi and the presidency go beyond a simple call for resignation. It reflects deeper concerns about governance, economic hardship, democratic accountability, political communication, and the future direction of Nigeria. As the debate continues, many Nigerians will likely pay less attention to political exchanges themselves and more attention to outcomes. Citizens will judge both the government and opposition based on their ability to offer realistic solutions and improve living conditions. In the end, the most important question remains unchanged. Who can provide the leadership, policies, and results needed to address Nigeria's challenges and restore public confidence in the country's future?